President and the conference, the report is on page 73. I'm blessed, President, that the full complement, except one member of this committee, they are present in the House. President, the committee met at least twice in an attempt to discuss and bring forth the proposals in this conference in how best we can assist and contribute in the running of the Fellowship of Men. President, we also want to indicate our worry as a committee that we observe we have beautiful documents and processes that are in place, but we seem to see a misalignment, rather no implementation of those documents. The committee, as detailed, page 73 and 74, we also attached is the terms of reference of the committee. What is it that the committee seeks to be doing in assisting the conference of the Fellowship of Men? I would want to put an emphasis, President, on page 75, where we are talking about the impact, where all committees of the conference, presbyteries, are to develop plans after they have taken time to think about and adequately implement those plans and the impact of that work into the work of the denomination. And President, that we should not do that as a tick box exercise, what we call it a malicious compliance, but we should do that in order to move from point A to point B. We had also put in the report the vision, mission, and values as agreed upon by the Fellowship of Men, so that whenever we are to do our work at the presbytery level, as committees, we are to consider the vision, the mission, and values as agreed. And as well as the 8 strategic objectives, which, President, as you listen to the discussions in this conference, one gets worried that indeed we are able to produce reports, adopt them, but we are very good in failing in how to implement what we have agreed upon. We have also, President, again repeated ourselves in the calendar of the fellowship which was agreed upon in indicating when the conference is highlighting issues that are to be discussed in that. Also, the councils, at page 78, they detailed issues that are discussed at the first council and at the second council. How we are going to implement a strategy, that question is critical, President, to respond, and when, and who, which, and where. And we are able to identify what are the challenges, and we produce, therefore, the remedial actions in order for us to proceed going forward. President, it is clear to the committee that we have this concept, we have this idea, but we are struggling in how to make it work. and it's a worrying factor to the committee. We are also saying we want to ask the conference to instruct committees to begin to plan and budget for their activities, so that when a budget is presented here, it's a budget that talks to the indicators as earlier it was discussed. President, I would have 11 proposals because one proposal is not in the pack as an additional proposal. I must indicate from the beginning. I therefore move that the report be received.
Any second to the proposal? Discussion?
President, may I check with the committee the way that things stand in our fellowship? I'm not sure if the President is able to hear me. Maybe I'll wait. The way that things stand, does the committee, is the committee of the view that the committees that we have, conference committees that we have, are they in any way geared towards the achievement of this strategy? I'm also looking at the strategic objectives, the 8 strategic objectives. And if we have an objective to be a reconciler in the church and society, what kind of an operational plan would a presbytery put in place to achieve that?
Any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you. President, thank you very much for the question. I've got a team here. If I have responded inadequately, they would come in and assist. Tate Mabusha, Tate Penny, Tate Kuala, Tate Nyamingwe. You will see in the report that we have proposed a template, and this template was shared with committees of conference as well as secretaries of presbyteries, in a way of trying to assist and pose direct questions in implementing the strategy that we had adopted. It was as a result of when we were analyzing the work of the conference through committees, we could not put a finger of conference committees actually aligning their work 100% with the strategic document or strategic objectives that we adopted as a conference. Hence, in one of the proposals, there would be a proposal that seeks to request or force committees to plan properly and to allocate resources in their planning. The additional proposal that I have requested also to put in place is also to request this conference to instruct that the first council should be convened purely to deal with planning and devising means and strategies on how to implement conference decisions. That additional proposal, as the committee we quickly met during lunch, is influenced by the discussions of this conference as we are part of this conference. I think, President, those were the questions, unless... Yes.
President, to the question, because I think, President, it is an important question that has been raised by the speaker. Quite often, conference would like to blame the executive committee all the fallouts that happen in the fellowship. But we are responsible. We come here, sit for 4 days, and complain in corridors and then blame the executive committee. But that question is an important question because it is reflecting upon ourselves. Are the committees that we have adequately help conference achieve the strategic objectives? The quickest answer would be no. But the Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Committee is not in a position to propose more committees when we are already struggling with the committees that we have. I think the last proposal, as the convener is suggesting, will try and address that. There is a sense of paralysis that people simply receive a report, agree, and they move on. It then puts a burden on the executive committee on what are they executing, and on the Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Committee on what are they evaluating and monitoring. So my sense is we are not meeting the objective. And there is a sense that very few people care about the objectives. So we need to move towards a point where we begin to care strategic objectives. We prepare reports and do the work that will drive the fellowship towards the strategic objective. Let me make a quick example without wasting your time, President. The Evangelism and Training Committee would perhaps come up with deliverables that say each congregation must have 4 door-to-door campaigns in a year. That's an example. And each congregation must then report to Presbytery how many door-to-door campaigns were conducted by the congregation and what was the result of the door-to-door. So unless we have deliverables that we bring to conference and conference adopts, we will have these high-level documents that we agree to that cannot be translated to reality when we go back to the ground. I hope the committee, if proposal number 11 is accepted, we will then begin as conference to move towards reaching the strategic objective conference. Thank you, President.
President, I want to ask maybe perhaps for the committee to assist the conference to produce the quality report for the entire conference. Will it be a burden to request this committee to conduct a quality assurance of the report presented to this conference before they are taken into the conference, so that when we come to this conference, we know that are we achieving? If the conference does not meet the standard of the operating procedures, to be sent back to say that no, we can't take this report, it does not speak to the conference.
Thank you.
President, that proposal, it sounds good, but it has technicalities on it. We are a committee of a conference. There is an executive, which is a DC. So we should be very careful in how we operate, that we are seen as taking over what the DEC should be doing. A DEC should be doing that quality assurance exercise, but it doesn't mean there could not be a methodology of us assisting each other collectively. But I would suggest that we take that point, keep it, so that if proposal number 11, where November Council is agreed upon for planning, devising strategies, it gets discussed at length and we see whether that would not be overstepping to the DC functions. I hope I'm assisting.
Thank you so much.
President,
The last one.
may I make a proposal as a follow-up to the question I had raised? That the next council, the first council after the denominational conference, look at the committees that we have in relation to the strategic objectives with the view for a strategic alignment, so that we should not just have committees because they exist. If there is no way that we would achieve the objectives with the current setup, we do need some realignment. Some committees may have to disappear, and so that the correct ones take over.
Thank you so much for this.
President X, as he is making that proposal, I'm asking the team also to assist that fast, because that proposal seems to be a tweak to proposal number 3. It's just been put differently. I'm not sure whether so that if we amend that proposal, it will not be covering what Flus Mahahani said, because proposal number 3, President, seeks to say committees must go back, and presbyteries as well, to align with the 8 FOM strategic objectives and Envision 2030. But now his proposal is to say the council itself must check that alignment of committees. So I'm not sure whether we could work around that proposal to say that, or it's not a duplication if 3 goes and we allow that proposal to come, because it's a critical proposal that we need to spend time and say, do we really need these committees that are here? Are they aligned to the strategic objectives? What is it that they're supposed to be doing? Can I move proposal 2 as transactional, President? Just to note. Then proposal number 3, President, as it is before us.
Seconder? Bugad. Any second to the proposal? Mahahani? Who seconded?
Yes, in order to make it so that I amend it.
Dada?
I do second for the purposes of amendment. Make sense.
Thank you so much for this. Sure.
Proposal number 4, President, which we have already amended that proposal to go and take the calendar as it is and put it there so that it makes sense.
Second to the proposal?
The calendar is on page 77 to 78.
Can I get a seconder for that proposal?
The calendar seeks to indicate, President, that a conference is sitting September. It's a physical gathering. A few indicators that what the conference is to do. First council is first week of November, or unless indicated otherwise. The proposal is that council to be physical. There are indicators of what that council should be doing. The second one is virtual, first weekend of June. There are also indicators as the calendar we're talking about.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Proposal number 5, that the strategic planning framework and monitoring, evaluation and reporting template be used by all committees and presbyteries. The template is attached on page 82 and 83, and it was circulated to committees and as well to presbyteries. We have also attached here as an example even what we are expecting responses to be.
Thank you. Any seconder? Seconder, agreed. Thank you.
Proposal number 6, that the conveners be instructed through the office of the secretary to submit their cost and activity plans for consideration to the DEC by 30th October 2024.
Seconder? Seconder, agreed. Thank you.
President, that the Finance Committee jointly with the PME facilitate a meeting to consider a budget for committees and report to the first council meeting for approval. Once we receive those costed, then we need to sit and align them and present in the first council.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder for that proposal? Seconder, agreed.
President, that I think that one, I don't know whether should I drop it, committee, because it has already happened. Can I drop proposal number 8? Because it was to seek the drafting team, so it has already taken care of. Thank you. That the conference instruct the DEC to follow and adhere to the process that after recording of resolutions by the drafting committee, the resolutions then be submitted to the conference of adoption and planning and monitoring and evaluation committee for monitoring and implementation. I think that one, President, is also now started happening this morning. That the conference reappoints all subcommittees for work with the new DEC. I move.
Any seconder to the proposal? Seconded, agreed. Discussion? No discussion. Thank you so much.
That the conference instructs that the first council focuses on the planning and developing of a strategy to implement conference resolutions. That additional proposal I indicated as number 11, then the one that it will be number 12.
Ibhaliwe mostly. Ayasebenza ngomfana nje. Yeah.
I will give it to you. But that the conference instructs that the first council focuses on the planning and the development of a strategy to implement conference resolutions.
Yes. Any seconder? Agreed? Great. Discussion? No discussion. Thank you so much.
That one for Robert Mahani is written. We already discussed and agreed upon it. It's just that I will give it to the secretary. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zabok. We are free.